Hello, I'm Lucy, a 58-year-old woman who recently gained custody of my grandson Matt. Today, I feel ready to share the challenging events that led to this point, hoping that discussing it here will boost my confidence to open up in real-life conversations. Let me start by introducing my daughter Melanie. She's my only child and the apple of my eye. When she was just 3 years old, her father, my husband, passed away, leaving the two of us to navigate life together. Melanie was a bright and brilliant girl, and I cherished her strong work ethic, which eventually earned her a full ride to her dream college. In college, Melanie met Nain, and they married shortly after graduation. While I wasn't thrilled about the swift marriage, I kept my opinions to myself, simply wanting Melanie to experience the world independently. She received my advice to delay having children, focusing on her career. However, 2 years later, she became pregnant with my grandson, Matt. Although not entirely pleased with the timing, I couldn't deny a sense of excitement about becoming a grandmother. When Matt was born, it brought immense joy, and I couldn't wait to spoil him. Fast forward 2 years, and Melanie and Nain moved to another state for a better job opportunity. Despite my reluctance to be separated from my grandson, I understood their motives and learned to cope with their absence through Skype and regular calls. 8 years later, Gig returned, and I was ecstatic to welcome them back. During their absence, I communicated with them virtually, and when they returned, they delved into work, leaving Matt in my care for long hours. Despite my uncertainty about their work commitments, I cherished the time spent with Matt, and our bond grew stronger. Unfortunately, the situation began to unravel around Matt's 12th birthday. I always took part in grand celebrations for him, but that year, I couldn't attend due to a work trip. Despite my efforts to return on his birthday morning, I couldn't make it. In an attempt to make up for missing his significant day, I met with him the following day, saying, "Hey, sweetie, happy belated birthday." "Thanks, Grandma," he replied. "I'm so sorry I couldn't make it yesterday. I tried my best to make it back in time, but it was already 11 p.m. It's okay. You made it up to me anyway." How could I not celebrate my favorite grandson's birthday? "I'm your only grandson, Grandma." Okay, you're still my favorite though. Anyways, 12 is a big age. "What did you do yesterday?" "Nothing." "Oh, come on, Matt. If you're trying to protect my feelings from missing out on your birthday, I can assure you that I'll be fine." "No, Grandma, I really didn't do anything." "What do you mean? Didn't your parents take you out for dinner?" "I sent your mom money for that." "Well, I sat at home all alone throughout the day, except for when my friends came over for a bit. Mom and Dad came back home really late from work, so I didn't do anything." "Why were your parents working on a Saturday?" "Mom and Dad picked up extra hours because they apparently needed the money." "That's odd. The least your mom could have done was tell me that they weren't celebrating your birthday. I would have had even more money to spend on you." "Grandma, that's really sweet, but I'm already used to this." "What do you mean?" "I mean that Mom and Dad are almost never home, and they always miss big events because they're too busy working." "That's so sad. How do you feel, though?" "I was sad yesterday, but I don't think I should have been." "Why?" "I mean, it's only natural to feel bad when your parents forget about celebrating your birthday. I mean, they've been doing it for so long. I should not have thought that they would have remembered." "Sweetie, that's so incredibly sad. I'm going to talk to your parents about it. You don't deserve this." "No, please don't. They'll only get mad at me, and they might not let me see you again." "But please, Grandma." "Fine, but you're staying with me tonight, and we're celebrating your birthday properly." I tried my best to push aside what Matt had revealed to me for the duration of his celebration with me. I took him out, let him buy whatever he wanted, and he seemed very happy. I was glad I could lift his mood. The next day after Matt left, I phoned Melanie to inquire why neither she nor Nain had celebrated Matt's birthday. Melanie simply explained they were busy, which infuriated me. Besides being my grandson, Matt was just a child, and no child should be forgotten in such a manner. I conveyed my concern to Melanie, but she dismissed me, telling me to mind my own business and not lecture her on parenting. Fearing she might cut off my access to Matt, I bit my tongue. About a month after Matt's 12th birthday, I received a distressing call from him while at work. Grandma, Matt, sweetie, how's everything going? Grandma, I need help. What? Why? What's going on? I feel really sick. Oh, sweetie, where are your parents? I've been trying to tell them I haven't been feeling well for a long time now, and they haven't been listening. They keep telling me that I'm fine and that they're too busy to do anything about it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is the pain? 10. Whoa, where is this pain you're feeling? Near my tummy, Grandma. Could you please stay here fast? I don't think I'll be able to stay awake for too long. I'm already on my way, sweetie. Just keep talking to me. How long have you been feeling this way? I've been feeling this way for a week and a half now, and it's always been this bad. Why wouldn't your parents take you to the doctor? That's not right of them. I don't know. I tried to tell them. I even went to them and cried about it, but they just brushed me off. I'm going to have a stern talk with them. In the meantime, I'm only 10 minutes away, sweetie. I'll be there super soon. Are you lying down? I'm sitting at my desk. Could you get on the bed and try to lie down? Maybe that will ease the pain a little. Oh, okay. Well, I'll try. Grandma, everything's getting so blurry. Matt, stay with me, sweetie. In a panic, I rushed over to Matt's place. While en route, I called 911 to get him help as quickly as possible. Fortunately, my workplace was only a 7-minute drive from Melanie's. I arrived before the EMTs, and upon entering Matt's room, I found him lying on the floor, his face turning blue. When I touched him to check for a pulse, he felt incredibly cold. Thankfully, I felt a pulse, and shortly after my arrival, the EMTs arrived, loading him into an ambulance and rushing him to the nearest hospital. I persistently tried calling Melanie and Nathan, but neither of them responded. Left with no choice, I resorted to leaving voicemails and messages, urgently informing them of Matt's situation. As I imagined worst-case scenarios, Matt's doctor delivered the alarming news that he had a ruptured appendix and required immediate surgery. Anxiety consumed me as Matt was rushed into the emergency room, and I anxiously paced back and forth, struggling to reach Melanie and Nathan. My frustration toward them intensified with every unanswered attempt. Thankfully, Matt's surgery proceeded smoothly, and he regained consciousness shortly after being placed in his own ward. About an hour later, Melanie and Nathan finally arrived. Oh my God, Matt. What happened? Apparently, my appendix ruptured and I needed immediate surgery. How did this happen so suddenly? Suddenly? Matt has been complaining about this pain for over 10 days. But how were we supposed to know it was this serious? Are you being serious right now? As Matt's parents, both of you should attend to every pain and illness he has, regardless of how tiny or insignificant it seems. I don't appreciate you talking to my husband that way. I wouldn't have to talk to either of you like this if you just took care of your son. Are you accusing us of being bad parents? Yes, I think I've made it pretty clear. This was your only mistake, a mistake that could have cost Matt his life if he hadn't called me. Not to mention, both of you prioritize your work over Matt all the time. We do not. Tell me that when I've been picking him up at least 3 times a week from school because both of you forgot. We're working hard to provide for him. Sure, we forget to do certain things every once in a while, but that doesn't make us bad parents. You think Matt is going to care about all the money you got him 5 years down the lane? No, all he's going to remember is how you neglected him and how your neglect almost got him killed. You are overstepping so many lines. That's it. You may be Matt's grandma, but you have no say in how he's brought up or what we, as parents, do. I want you out of his ward. But Mom, I want Grandma here. She brought me here. So I think she deserves to be here. Matt, stay out of it. Once you're nice and healed, you are going to be in trouble. Why will he be in trouble? He could have called us and told us about his pain. Instead of coming to us, he went to you, and now we're beyond humiliated and embarrassed. You can't take your feelings out on him. He's been suffering, and he reached out to the only person he knew would take his pain seriously. Okay, Lucy, you really need to step out now, or we will have to get you thrown out. You can't do that. As his parents, we will be given first priority. I just have to tell the nurse to take you out of care. Fine, but this isn't over. Matt, sweetie, take care. Everything will be fine, and you have absolutely nothing to worry about. I'll see you soon. I was beyond enraged, but once again, I decided to hold my tongue because I knew that I couldn't just abandon Matt when he most definitely needed me the most. I tried my best to get in contact with Melanie and Nathan to get updates on Matt, but neither of them answered any of my calls or texts. I could only hope that Matt was recovering nicely. That was until just a week after his surgery. Melanie called me and asked me to look after Matt during the daytime after work until they came back home. She never addressed our last conversation, nor did she apologize for how she talked to me. I let it go because I was just happy to see Matt again. The next day, I rushed over to Matt right after work and saw him lying in bed playing a video game. There's my brave and strong man. How are you doing, champ? I could be better, I guess. Have Mom and Dad been taking proper care of you? Well, they left me alone all day. So what? I thought at least one of them would have taken off to look after you. It was truly a miracle that even one of them stayed with me when I was in the hospital. Oh my God, you poor child. I want out of this house, Grandma. Is there anything you can do about it? Of course. I'm your grandma, and your parents have neglected you enough for me to use my rights as your grandma to take custody of you. But I don't think that your parents will be too happy about it. Who cares what they think? They clearly don't care enough about me. I completely agree. You'll be a little busy though, and you'll probably have to go to court, and it'll be really tiring. I'll do anything to get out of this house. If I could survive my appendix bursting, I think I can handle being tired for a while. Wow. Just how much damage have your parents done? You know, one time they forgot me in another state because they got too wrapped up with their own things. Another state? Yeah, one time they surprised me with a road trip, which only turned out to be a business trip for both of them. I spent the entire time in the hotel while both of them worked. One day after their meeting was over, they simply left, completely forgetting I was even there. I had to spend a whole night at the police station, waiting for them to come back. When the police spoke to my dad, he told them he was overtired, and it was an honest mistake, so they let him go. I got yelled at afterward for not calling them. Did the police say anything to them? They spoke to my dad, and he told them he was overtired, and that it was an honest mistake, and they let him go. I got yelled at afterward for not calling them. My God, they're monsters. Do you see why I want out so bad? Absolutely, honey. Let's give you another day or two to feel better, and then I'll bring a lawyer over, and we can start discussing getting custody of you. Thank you, Grandma. I didn't think I could get any more appalled by Melanie and Nathan's parenting, but there I was, listening to just a few snippets, and I already wanted to unleash hell on them. I knew that it would not be right to get my emotions involved in this situation, so I just spent the rest of that day talking with Matt and trying to make him feel better. The next day, I took a week off work, and the first thing I did was get in contact with a lawyer. He advised me to collect as much evidence as I could about Melanie and Nathan's neglect, so I started to do that. Over the next 4 months, I got Matt on board and asked him to keep track of everything. We set up a hidden camera in his room so that every conversation was recorded. Gradually, we collected more than enough evidence, along with evidence from the past and testimonies from those involved. We had more than enough evidence to guarantee my custody of Matt. With that, I filed for Matt's custody, and Melanie and Nain were summoned to court. Of course, they did not take it lightly, and I got a very angry call from Melanie. What do you think you're doing? Oh, hi, Melanie. Do not try to be nice to me right now while you're trying to take Matt away from us. You have shown me one too many times how you neglect Matt. I don't want him growing up thinking that he's never cared for. That was one isolated incident, Mom. I've been speaking to a lawyer and to Matt. Matt has told me about all the other non-life-threatening ways you and Nain have been neglecting him. So you've brainwashed Matt into thinking that we don't love him either. I didn't force him to leave. I believe he wanted to go a long time ago, but he didn't realize he could. How can you even say that? This is all you're doing. You had to throw a huge fit in front of him at the hospital, Melanie. I don't think you realize just how scary it was to walk into your home and see Matt lying unconscious and blue on the floor. It took everything in me to remain calm and get him the help he needed. Your nonchalance about everything that happened to him is only making me angrier. We are not being nonchalant. You haven't even been paying attention to him after he had his surgery. Neither of you even took some time off to look after him. He's been home alone most of the time. Oh, shut up, Mom. We invited you over. He was not alone. I only see him after I'm done with work, which is around the afternoon. You and Nain leave early in the morning and don't even get back until late evening. He's alone for a good portion of the day, and as far as I'm concerned, that's major neglect. How do you expect us to pay off the surgery? Huh? That was only more stress on us. Are you trying to blame Matt for something he had no control over? If the shoe fits, you know what will alleviate you of all this financial stress? If you let me take care of Matt. He's my son. Your son that you do not care for. You can either make this easy, or I will drag everything you've ever done to Matt into the public. Are you threatening me? If the shoe fits, now I have to go meet with my lawyer. You have 3 days to give me an answer. Bye. I actually did plan to provide evidence of all Melanie and Nathan's neglect to our family. Nathan's family, along with their workplaces, because I saw no reason for people like them to have children. It was only a miracle that they lived close to me, so I had some form of knowledge of what was happening on the inside. Matt was upset that his parents just did not see why they were wrong, but I stood by his side and assured him that the way his parents fought was not influenced by him or any of his actions. 3 days later, Melanie and Nathan willingly gave up their custody of Matt to me. Let me tell you, I have never in my life seen someone as happy as Matt was when he found out that his parents were signing over their custody of him. Matt cried for a good 5 minutes in pure happiness. Seeing him that happy only made my heart break even more for him at the thought of what the poor child must have gone through for years before someone even listened to him. Of course, Melanie and Nain were not very nice about handing over their custody of Matt to me after the deed was done. At first, they were low-key about it, but then the family began to get suspicious of Matt never being with them. They eventually came clean about their loss of custody of Matt, but not before blaming me for ruining their family. I received numerous calls from people condemning me as a horrible person for separating a child from their parents. Despite the criticism, I chose to ignore it because Matt was my top priority. Creating a safe environment for him took precedence over dealing with those who merely sought gossip. I weathered the harsh judgments from my family, ensuring that Matt remained oblivious to the negativity. However, things took a darker turn when Melanie and Nathan started spreading the false narrative that Matt had convinced me to strip them of custody. Matt now had his own phone and number, and he began receiving texts from concerned family members questioning why he was allegedly breaking his parents' hearts. This was when my anger reached a boiling point. While I could tolerate the accusations against me, dragging their son's name through the mud was unacceptable. I decided to take action by creating a group chat for the family members who had been harassing us. In the chat, I shared a folder filled with evidence of Melanie and Nathan's neglect of Matt. After sharing the evidence, I exited the group chat and blocked everyone involved on both Matt's and my phones. Subsequently, I heard from some family members that the shared evidence had triggered a significant backlash against Melanie and Nathan. They were ostracized by the entire family, and even their employers were informed of their actions, leading to job-related consequences. While I could empathize with their situation, I couldn't overlook their cruelty and inhumanity. I chose to distance myself from any information regarding them, not just for Matt's sake, but also for my own mental well-being. Each mention of them increased my anger and blood pressure. On a brighter note, Matt has never been happier. He has returned to excelling at school, and the joy in his life is evident as he frequently invites friends over. Humorously, I just about missing the quieter house before Matt moved in, but in truth, the child deserves all the laughter and smiles after everything he has been through. I am committed to protecting and providing for him, and I am confident that he has a much better handle on his life and himself, alleviating many of my worries. Thank you for taking the time to read our story.